Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple-species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency and Okuma.
Hey folks, Fred Golofaro here for this week's video fishing forecast. And well, the first part of this week was a little tough. We had those northeast winds Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday turned out to be a beautiful day yesterday. Looking ahead to the weekend and Friday. Friday looks okay. Marine forecast is calling for southwest at 5 to 10. Increasing to 15 later in the afternoon, and seas up to 3 feet. On Saturday's a little iffy. We got northeast again, 4 to 6 foot seas, and they're calling for 10 to 15 northeast, but it seems every time they call for northeast you can add at least 5 or 10 knots to that. Sunday, light northeast, 10 knots, seas diminishing to 2 to 4 feet. So yeah, it should affect the fishing in some areas, but you should be able to get out, take advantage of some of the good fishing that's been going on all around the island, for that matter. The fish are there. Let's just hope the weatherman cooperates a bit with us. Up in Long Island Sound, Western and Central Sound, best bet this week's got to be porgies. They seem to be all over the place. They're off all the points: Matinacock, Sands Point, Eaton's Neck. They're off of Bayville, New Rochelle, Larchmont, the shore guys, Orchard Beach, Lagoon, Comset, some of the docks in Oyster Bay, Rye Playland, Glen Island, all producing plenty of porgies. Worms seem to be the top bait, but clams will catch them too. Worms will stay on your hook better, particularly for you shore guys, and even further west, further east in the Sound, places like Sunken Meadow, Callahan's, all the way out to Wading River and Wildwood, catching porgies all along those shorelines. Like I said, they just seem to be everywhere. There is some good bass fishing taking place still in the Sound also. Some of the deeper water in the far western Sound and the deep channels and around the bridges like the Trog's Neck and the Whitestone. And then again to the west off of Eaton's Neck, some of the deep water in that area, and it's pretty much a chunking game now. There are some smaller fish in Manhasset Bay and Hempstead Harbor, schoolies up into the teens maybe, but definitely #1 bet porgies in that area. Down on the South Shore and West End, fluke. Some really good fluking taking place. Excuse me. It started about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and it looks like a new body of fish that had moved in, but I tell you, the quality is much better than what they're accustomed to along most of the South Shore. We're hearing of much better keeper ratios and quite a few quality fish in the mix. As a matter of fact, even a couple of doormats. There was one in Reynolds Channel, weighed in at Bay Park, 12.60 pounds, and a 12.2 pound that came aboard the Captured Pride. And that was also inside. That was caught inside Great South Bay. So Reynolds Channel and Great South Bay producing a couple of real doormats. It's basically all the way out Shinnecock, Moriches. There's some good fishing in the ocean too, but like the last couple of days with the northeast, it was a tough ocean getting out in the ocean. But the bays have, like I said, some quality fish and good numbers of fish. On the far west end, fluke fishing isn't quite as good, but there's been a good bluefish bite. There's also been a lot of porgies off all the seawalls and Breezy Point Jetty, around the Marine Parkway Bridge, places like that. So there is some good activity going on, and especially for you shore guys if you're looking for porgies. On the east end, take your pick, bass or fluke. The bass fishing has stayed hot, or it was hot prior to this northeast blow. I'm sure that's going to settle down again. Through the weekend, just to give you an example, Star Island weighed 50 bass over 45 pounds. You know, Boats are limiting out. You know, they're catching their charter boats catching their 6 big fish or 8 big fish in some cases. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, I mean, there's just a ton of these big female bass being killed. Think twice, you know, before you take all these fish. You don't have to fill a boat limit. Even if you're on a charter boat, if you're with 5 other guys, you got 6 of you, or if there's 4 of you, take what you're going to eat. These are 30, 40-pound fish. Some of them are 50 pounds. And try to release the ones you can. You know, you can safely release. And same thing, you private boat guys. Same deal. You don't have to keep your limit. You don't have to kill every one of these big fish you catch. And it's just looking ahead for all of us. I mean, boat captains want to keep sailing. They want to target those fish down the road, and we want to keep catching them. So let's use a little discretion. You know, when you see dumpsters full of carcasses of 30 to 50-pound fish, you just wonder how long that can go on without really hurting the fishery. Fluke fishing on the east end, Montauk, same thing. I mean, it's just a load of quality fluke out there. There's been limit catches. Some of the private boat guys limiting out on fish from 5 to 9 pounds. Savio Mizzi, our staff artist, he was at it again. He had his 3 fish limit. All 3 fish were 8 pounds. And can't knock the sea bass and porgy fishing either out there. Lots of sea bass, lots of porgies. As a matter of fact, on a lot of these trips, you're catching bass, you're getting your bass limit, you're getting your sea bass limit, you're catching fluke, you're catching porgies. All the more reason to put some of these bass back. If you're looking for meat, there's other ways to put meat on the table. On the forks, Jessup's has a nice run of blues up into the teens going on right now, and lots of weakfish in Peconic Bay, Noyack Bay, especially buoy 16 and Roses Grove. There's also kingfish and blowfish mixed with them, so that's some nice fishing going on there. And there's good bass fishing in the race and slewway. Not those slobs that are being taken off Montauk, but still some nice fish and good numbers. And same deal there. You got lots of sea bass around Plum Island and Fisher's Island, so you can round off your day. If you're out bass fishing, you can round off your day with a limit of sea bass. In the surf, a lot of negativity, not a lot of fishing going on, unless you want to target sharks. A lot of guys are targeting sharks, catching mostly browns, which are sandbar sharks. And remind you cannot keep them, they're protected, and also sand tigers. But as far as striped bass and bluefish go, that fishing's been off. However, I did hear from an old friend of mine, Mark Friedman. He's been fishing West Hampton Beach. He's there every day, lives there for the summer, and he's been doing a job on bass, bluefish, and fluke, and some big fluke, all from the beach, basically on bucktails and soft plastics. Typically a 2-hour session early in the morning, catching a dozen, 15, sometimes 20 bass and bluefish. It makes you wonder. There's just so little effort, from the guys I talked to. I was out at the Surf Rats Ball this past weekend, and it seems like nobody's fishing. So you kind of wonder just how bad the fishing is. I know it was a tough spring as far as bass go, although some areas were loaded with school bass, small bass. We've had a couple of really good year classes in Chesapeake and Hudson recently. So I expect to see more of those fish in the fall, especially if all these sand eels that are around stick around in the fall. So maybe the glass is half full, not half empty. And if you can get it out, obviously weather like we just had, with those northeast winds, but if that didn't get you itchy to go hit the beach, nothing will. It really felt like September or October. So fish are there. If you can get out this weekend, definitely give it a shot. You have lots of options. And before I sign off, don't forget to take in our video of the week coming right up. Till next week, Fred Golofaro for thefisherman.com. Hey folks, how you doing there? This week's tip of the week is going to revolve around all this good sea bass and porgy fishing going on. I know a lot of you are still using conventional tackle and sinker with a baited hook. If you're looking to do something a little more fun, get yourself a light spinning rod, 6-foot spinning rod, more designed for freshwater fishing. The 2500, you can push it to a 3000 series reel like this, and spool it up with 10 or 15 pound test braid, and get yourself a selection of bucktail jigs and lead heads, anywhere from a half to maybe an ounce and a half. It all depends on the water depth and current and things like that, but a lot of times you can get away with a half, 3/4 of an ounce, go to an ounce, but it's the fish jump on them. If you want to still fish bait, you can dress them with just a plain jig head with a strip of squid or a piece of clam on it. Will catch fish just as good as a bottom rig will. I prefer to go with bucktails in a lot of cases, especially if there's fluke in the area. But either way, you're going to catch a mix of sea bass, porgies, and fluke. What I really like to do is tip them with gulp. There's a wide selection of gulp baits. These swimming mullets tend to work very well, but so do the sand eels, and so do the jerk shads and the smaller sizes for the porgies and sea bass. It's just a much more fun way to fish from, in my opinion, and especially with sea bass, you only have a 3-fish bag limit, so you want to get the most out of those fish. And you catch a 3-pound sea bass on this light rod, it's a real lot of fun. You catch a 4 or 5 pounder, he's going to be taking drag, and just changes the whole atmosphere. I know a lot of guys who just never bothered fishing for porgies or sea bass because they didn't like bottom fishing. Well, this is a game changer when you go to this tackle. It's just a lot more fun, a little more challenging, and at least equally as effective. In some cases, we found it to be more effective than the standard bottom rig and clam baited hook. If you do want to use bait, squid is a little tougher than the clam. Especially if you soak it in kosher salt, pack it away in kosher salt, it'll toughen it up a bit. And it's one advantage with the gulp baits, they are more durable and tough to eat, and catch several fish on one bait without worrying about losing your bait. So give it a try next time you head it out looking for sea bass or porgies. Add some fun to it. I think you'll be surprised also at how effective this tackle can be on those bottom species. Until next week, Fred Golofaro for thefisherman.com.